Everybody, welcome to Uncle Dave's Brigade. Today I've got an unusual band and an unusual song. The Cisco Kid by War. And I'll talk about why it's unusual in just a few minutes, but first we'll get to the music. It's from the Midnight Special, TV show back in the 70s. It's a great show. Always had great bands on it. Came on at midnight, Eastern time anyway. And let's get to the music. We'll talk about who was the Cisco Kid and why did they write a song about it. Let's get to it. Cisco Kid by War. It's a live version.
Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. He drank whiskey, poncho, drink the wine. He drank whiskey, poncho, drink the wine. We met down on the border, Rio Grande. We met down on the border, Rio Grande.
Funky sound.
Eat the salted peanuts out of can. Eat the salted peanuts out the can. The outlaws had us pinned down at the board. The outlaws had us pinned down at the board. Cisco came in blasting, drinking port. Cisco came in blasting, drinking port.
A lot of sound going on.
They rode the sunset, horse was made of steel. They rode the sunset, horse was made of steel. Chased the gringo rustler through a field. Chased the gringo rustler through a field.
¿Sabía que era? ¿Saben la grosería?
Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. Cisco Kid, he was a friend of mine. Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. Cisco Kid was a friend of mine.
Okay, that's a great song from the past. I tell you, this is why I say it's an unusual song, is that there's so many transitions in it. There's so many different sounds that you hear from this particular song. I mean, you hear the rock, the R&B, the jazz, the reggae, a little bit in the background, the bongos, the Latin. I mean, it's just a little bit, and that was a signature for War. That's why I call them an unusual band. You couldn't put them into one kind of a whole and say, well, this is a rock band or this is a jazz band or R&B band. They kind of cut across all the different genres and was able to create unique sounds. And that's why I think they were one of the more unusual bands at the time. And this song is unusual because who is the Cisco Kid? Well, it's not a real person, but it was a real character on TV in the 50s. There was a TV show called The Cisco Kid. It was a Mexican cowboy and his sidekick, Pancho. It got into all kinds of adventures. And this was a little story talking about that adventure. And it ran from 1956 to what was it, 50 to 56. And they came up with the idea, the guitarist, a gentleman named Howard, he came up with the idea because at that time there were no Hispanic or Black characters in television or films to really look up to and have as a hero to relate to, except for the Cisco Kid. And so he said, well, let's give the kids somebody to highlight and somebody to look at and relate to as a hero. So he created this song. They created it and came up with it. And it's a number 2 hit with it. Almost hit number 1. Was knocked out of first place by High Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree, Tony Orlando and Dawn. So that's the one that stopped it from becoming number 1. And this is a band that started in 1969. It was originally called Eric Burden from the Animals, Eric Burden and War. And then Eric left, and then it was just War. Had a number of hits. We will get to some of those later. And that's it for this particular episode, this song. I hope you liked it, enjoyed it. If you would, make a comment down below, hit the post notification bell and subscribe. Come back and see me, and be kind to each other and be kind to yourself. Okay. Thanks a lot.